Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to Remember11, the Age of Infinity. Last time, we had some issues with Utsumi. She didn't like us very much. We had a bit of a struggle, so... And she definitely was trying to kill Hotori. Definitely been proven, so... Things are gonna be awkward, I feel, between her and Satoru. I hadn't seen Utsumi once since then. Oh, by the way, I was gonna say... From this point forward, I'll do a video every day. I think I'm well enough in the groove where I want to do that. So yeah, finished the game even quicker than I was thinking. She shut herself in her room and wouldn't come out. The door was firmly locked from the inside. Hotori continued about her daily routine with no apparent changes. She seemed to be completely oblivious to the fact that Utsumi was out to kill her. Hotori was currently playing with Uni in a corner of the living area. From time to time, she would smile brilliantly as they played.
21か。隣だったらダブルリーチだったんだけどな。
The more I saw how calm she was, the deeper my mind sank into depression. Behind me, right on the other side of a single thin wall, the personification of madness itself was hiding. Even now, she might be waiting for her chance to slaughter Hotori. If I could simply feel hatred or anger toward Utsumi right now, it would be much simpler. With justice as my shield, I could stand against her. But I don't. I understand Utsumi's feelings. The feelings of a monster... what? Of a mother depraved of her own child. Can't blame her. I can't scorn her. Compassion and pity truly are awe-inspiring, I thought. So save the day in Lord of the Rings, according to Gandalf. Couldn't do anything for them. For Utsumi or for Hotori. All I could do was protect Hotori and try to take precautions in case Utsumi snapped. What drove me was neither a sense of duty nor of justice, but simply my own clumsy instinct. I headed to the kitchen and downed a glass of water. And slept a wink last night, and now drowsiness was advancing upon me. I really wanted a cup of coffee, but I remembered the mal inhibitor and changed my mind. Of course I couldn't very well go nap in my room. Had to guard Hotori. Took my eyes off her for even a second. Utsumi might use the opportunity to rush out of her room. Then Uni was right there beside her, and even the way she was right now, I don't think Utsumi would lay a hand on him, but just in case, I decided to let Uni know.
Nah, Uni! ちょっといいか?
I feel like this could be a very awkward conversation. This is going to be about what I think it is. Cut out to him as I headed into the living area. I guess he's talking about his game with Hotori. I immediately understood what they were playing. Game where players write numbers from 1 to 25 in a 5x5 square and take turns calling out a number and painting out the squares. A kind of bingo commonly called 25. Sophia is the kind of environment with nothing to do, so the only thing you can do is kill time with these primitive games. And I can't get the computer running, so no video games, I guess.
18. 本当に18でいいの？じゃあ21。21はさっき言ったじゃん。どっちが？ユニが。嘘！僕言ってないよ、21なんて。
おいユニ、頼むよ。すぐ終わるからさ。
もううるさいな。ごめんホトリ、ちょっと待ってて。
Uni set down the pencil and paper he'd been holding and ran over to me.
あのな、ユニ、突然だが頼みたいことがあるんだ。
頼みたいこと？
ああ、これからしばらくの間、どんなことがあっても。
なんで？
なんでもだ。とにかく、ホトリと内海さんを二人っきりにしないでほしいんだ。ん？
ホトリとカーリーって喧嘩？
まあ、そんなようなもんだ。だから頼む。
なんだかよくわからないけど、いいよ。二人を見張ってればいいんだね。
ありがとう。助かるよ。
話はそれだけ？
うん。
じゃあ戻ってもいい？
いいけど、今言ったこと忘れんなよ。
分かってるよ。 大丈夫大丈夫、任しといて。
Uni thumped his chest and returned to Hotori. Hopefully he doesn't ask Hotori, hey, what about this fight you're having, possibly? I missed what they said. Pure, something or other. I returned to my room for my coat and then headed outside. Just like yesterday, it was sunny. The clear winter air was incredibly refreshing. Though it's not like I came out here for the air, I thought I'd check up on Utsumi's condition. The door to her room was still shut and locked, and when I knocked, no reply came. That's why I decided to look through her window. Began to walk clockwise around the outside of the building. In no time, I was standing outside my target window. I immediately noticed something odd. The window was open. Peeking into the room, I found it completely empty.
おいおい、どこ行っちまったんだ?
Maybe she's in the bathroom. Discarded that idea the minute it came to me. The snow beneath the window, there were footprints there other than mine. Though rather than footprints, they were more like tracks that someone had dug through the snow. Snow had risen here and there in uneven mounds, forming a trail as though someone had crawled underneath it. Followed the trail. The trail weaved across the ground like the contours of the Ria's coastline. When I thought the path was going to zig, it zagged. A rise I expected to find in one place turned up in another direction completely. In a sense, it was more like an insect trail. Wandering unsteadily across the snowfield, eventually reached a wall. There at the end of the trail was Utsumi. She stood slightly apart from the wall, petrified like an old tree. Her back was turned to me, so I couldn't see her face. I left her to snow, steadily making my way over to her. When did the music get all intenser? I approached her from the side. There was something like a notebook in her hand. She was absent-mindedly staring at its open pages. She didn't seem to be aware of me at all.
こんなとこで.
At the sound of my voice, her head shot up. She turned and fixed me with a sharp glare. She thrust the notebook, or whatever it was, behind her back. Slowly, she drew back toward the wall. She didn't answer me, and no, she definitely don't look pregnant. Why was I thinking that she might be looking pregnant? She didn't answer me. The eyes that stared at me were cloudy and sunken. Suddenly glanced down at her feet. She was barefoot. Blistered raw from the cold, her feet were bright red and swollen below the ankles. I murmured pity in my voice. She continued her retreat. Her back struck the wall and her body trembled furiously in time to the pounding of her heart. Though it wasn't possible for her to retreat any further, her feet continued their backward scramble. Her bare feet sliding on the white surface. Big white flecks of snow clung to them. I advanced with decisive steps. Her sharp voice cut through the frozen atmosphere. The face that Utsumi turned to me was gruesome and filled with menace. Unfazed, I continued forward, narrowing the distance between us. I grabbed hold of her arm. Strengthening my hold, I jerked it forward. I let her continue her futile struggling as I admonished her.
いや、話すわけにはいかない。部屋に戻るんだ。She continued to thrash about, and I tried to somehow calm her down. Something slipped from her hand and went flying. Spinning like a shot bird, it fell to the snow. Throwing off my hand, she went running over to the fallen object. Reacting immediately, I chased after her. One of her feet got caught in a snowbank and she fell forward. But even that didn't halt her movement, and she was soon dragging herself through the snow on her hands and knees. I strode past her and picked up the object. It wasn't a notebook, but a file folder. Flipped it open. Inside was a clear sheet protector that held several photos. The first was of a baby. It's probably taken a few months after birth. The more baby was laughing happily in the picture. The color of his hair and skin were similar to Utsumi's. His eyes and nose somehow resembled Yomogi's. Is this baby the new life Yomogi was talking about last night? Turn the page. Page after page, they were all pictures of the same baby. However, alone on the very last page was a boy in a red cap, a white t-shirt, shorts, and sneakers. Okay, so that's Junichi. There's probably a part behind him in the shot. Awash with the brilliant sunlight, he was aiming a peace sign at the camera. A mischievous little boy with light brown skin. Could this be Junichi-kun? Suddenly, the file was snatched away from me. Utsumi was hunched over like an elderly woman, clutching the file to her chest. Sorrow was written plainly across her downcast face. Her mouth hung open, and from it escaped an inhuman groan. Her silver hair disheveled, her can't read. Her pupils abnormally wide, blood red hives standing on the surface of her brown skin. It was all exactly like the way I'd seen her this morning. Her features warped and crazed, as though she'd been possessed by a demon.
あなたも狙ってるのね。11を。あなたも。
A deep pain throbbed in my chest. So her being gutted, slowly torn apart, I felt as though my heart were about to break. What?
Utsumi-san, 帰ろう。
I was finally able to whisper.
帰る。どこに帰るっていうのよ。私には帰るべき場所なんてどこにも。
帰るべき場所か。そんなことないだろう。あなたには。
I've got. I highly doubt it's the case. But. Okay, if you've never watched or played Ever 17, you might want to stick your fingers in your ears because I'm fixing to mention something kind of relative to it. What if they really are switching back and forth in time, but they're not doing it exactly the way that they think? I can't remember, but has Yomogi mentioned to Satoru about, well, no, why would there be two Yomogis, though? I'm just gonna say, I don't know if I remember Yomogi mentioning Satoru about, no, he did do that, though, didn't he? Yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah, because he was saying it created a new life. Horrible memory, horrible memory. Yeah, never mind. Forget I was saying anything. Yeah, that is right. He was talking about Inubushi Keigo killing Junichi, and that's when he said it created a new life, which was the new baby. So it was a Sega kid, okay. I was pretty sure of that. Why was I forgetting that detail? But something does still seem a little off, though. Don't know exactly how. I'm gonna say a child, but I don't know if this is really.
子供がいるじゃないか。去年の8月に生まれた赤ん坊が。その赤ん坊はあなたのことを待ってるはずだ。だからその子のいるところがあなたの帰るべき場所で。なん
で知ってるの？
え？
どうして8月に生まれたって知ってるのよ。
それはよもぎさんに聞いたからだ。昨べ彼はこう言ってた。予定日は8月だって。ということは赤ん坊が生まれたのは
あなた何言ってるの？
あったくどう説明すりゃいいんだ。多分信じてもらえないと思うけど、俺は1年前のよもぎさんに会ったんだ、赤倉岳で。だから純一君のことも赤ん坊のことも知ってるんだ。彼から直接聞いたんだよ。
わけのわからないこと言わないで。あなた頭おかしいんじゃないの？
それはこっちのセリフだ。今のあなたはとても正気とは思えない。頼むから元の内海さんに戻ってくれ。
私は正気よ。何も知らないくせにふざけたこと言わないでよ。あなたに何がわかるっていうの？純一は、あの子は犬伏恵子に殺された。あなたはその上っ面の事実だけしか知らない。一人のとある少年が殺された。純一がどんな子供だったのか、私とあの子がどんな日常を送ってきたのか知らないでしょ。
Saying that, she silently began to tell me her story. While fighting back the tears that threatened to overflow from her eyes fell to one of the photographs. Yomogi Junichi-kun. Oh, okay, yeah, duh. Yomogi's his last name. What is his first name then? Or his given name is Seiji? Yomogi Seiji. That sounds familiar. Must be. Age at death, 9 years old. On the day of his 9th birthday, he departed this world. Mischievous, willful, always causing trouble, and yet an unusually lonely and clingy child. At night, if he had a bad dream, he would crawl into his mother's bed and fall asleep. As if wanting her smell, he'd press his nose against her arm. As soon as the sun rose, he'd leap out of bed and bounce around with the energy of a kitten. Loved doing dangerous things so much that he once climbed up the chimney of a public bathhouse, causing a great ruckus. All the adults gathered together, trying to persuade him to come down, but he wouldn't leave the chimney. Later we found out that he'd frozen in fear and couldn't get down, and then dusk fell. Mogi finally came to save him. Mogi didn't scold his son with harsh words. He just smiled quietly and gently patted his head. Junichi-kun cried at the top of his lungs, sobbing and wailing. Even after he ran out of tears, he cried and cried. I'm sorry, over and over again, he apologized as he clung tightly to Yomogi's leg. This boy of ever-changing emotions. When he laughed, it was with his whole heart. When he cried at the top of his lungs. He was 5 years old, the first time he was sent out on an errand. Instead of cabbage, he accidentally brought home lettuce. I hate that. What's the difference? Utsumi said, what a pity, and I was going to make cabbage rolls for dinner. When he saw the troubled expression on his mother's face, Junichi frantically tried to play dumb. But the old man at the store told me, while trying his best to make excuses, his eyes began to overflow with tears. I'm saying it's fine. I said it's fine. So I gave him the money like you told me. Got the right change too. See? I said it's fine, so the old man said so. He's probably so ashamed he couldn't bear it, so he cried. Sumi wanted to comfort him, so she spoke to him gently. The more she tried to comfort him, the harder he cried. He was a crybaby. He was a crybaby. Athletics was the one area where he excelled, and the training wheels came off his back when he was still in kindergarten. Of all the neighborhood children, he was the first. Must have been very pleased with that, because he showed his bicycle with love after that. Showered his bicycle with love. Okay. It's a little different. One day they decided to go shopping together in the next town over. Yomogi and Utsumi had intended to go there by train, but Junichi wanted the bike there no matter what and wouldn't listen. In the end, he rode there on his bike by himself while his parents took the train. Guess that went well. On that very day, there was an accident and all the trains were stopped. Okay, it didn't go well. Having reached their destination first, he smiled proudly. He hadn't learned how to wink yet. So he squeezed both his eyes shut in an attempt to look gallant. That's why I said that bikes were faster. By the time he started elementary school, he could even ride it with no hands. Even going downhill, even when passing a car, he wouldn't stop. Stop doing that, it's dangerous. Even after Utsumi scolded him, he continued riding like that, his face supremely unconcerned. He would ride around everywhere, over hill and dale, until nightfall. In the early spring, he'd come back from the field soaked and covered with mud. He was covered in scratches and scrapes all year round. When the three of them went skiing, he would ascend to the peak alone and come back down safely. Perhaps he'd inherited his love of dangerous things from his father. Simi thought it was charming to have a child like that. Yeah. There's some mothers who would not love a child like that. Well, I'm not saying that they wouldn't love their children. I'm not saying that. I know when I was first trying to get a job, I was thinking of working at a gas station. You know, gotta start somewhere. My mom was pretty paranoid about it. So, if you get robbed, what if you get shot? I think she'd be a little bit more paranoid if I were to be something like a mountain climber or something along those lines. His dirty clothes could be quite troublesome to clean, though. Mischievous, willful, always causing trouble. And yet, an unusually lonely and clingy child. Evening came, Junichi-kun would crawl into his mother's futon and fall asleep. Omegi was right there beside them. The three of them slept side by side, the very picture of a happy family. Sleep's asleep. In summer, they slept under a single thin sheet. The wind would blow in gently through the open screen door. The wind chime would ring. In autumn, they changed to a thick blanket. The wind would begin to grow colder. Outside, the fallen leaves would rustle as they tumbled about. Winter came and Yomogi would despair. In order to support the two of them, he risked his life climbing snowy mountains. Mother and child would embrace each other, waiting for Yomogi to return. Even in the city, it would begin to snow. Down and down it would come, till it lay thick on the ground. And then spring would come again. So, Yomogi only works like 3 months of the year? Guess that works! As soon as the sun rose, Junichi would start bouncing around. He'd come home caked in mud. Many days passed this way, then months, then years. Time passed in an instant. And then, on January 1st, 2009, I feel like there's a spoiler that we've had on this incident.
この子がどんな殺され方をしたのか。心臓は綺麗な桃色してたわ。細い肋骨は透き通るような白で、顔だけが無傷のまま残ってたの。赤く染まってたけどね。私どんな顔してたと思う？安らかな寝顔？
Yeah. I would say she has a little cause to be unstable there. Definitely something you would not want to see from anybody, let alone someone you love and care about.
布団に潜り込んできた時みたいな甘えた顔。それともあの時みたいに。違うわ。あの子はね、苦痛に顔を歪めてたのよ。地獄の底で炎に焼かれてるみたいな苦悶の顔。血まみれになった口が張り裂けそうなほど開いてた。何かを叫ぼうとしているかのように。これで分かったでしょ。私はあの女を殺すわ。どんなことがあっても。だからあなたに迷惑はかけないから。お願い。
Saying that she left, I couldn't call out to her to stop. For the next few moments, I could only stand still, unable to think, except that I felt a chill deep within my chest as if it were frozen. My heart was crumbling like a marionette with its strings cut. I felt on my knees in the recently disturbed snow. Well, interesting backstory. Gotta say, interesting backstory. Grim backstory. Yeah, definitely sure on that. I say this is a good point to call it. We definitely understand Utsumi's motivation there. Yeah. So, do sincerely hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Farewell there.